Next, we're going to talk about the theme that started coming up in the first talk today under the banner of premium APIs. I'm delighted to welcome the next speakers, Veikko, Koski, CEO and founder at FinanceKey. Good afternoon,
Hi,
Veikko.
Claire.
How are you going?
Thanks. I'm doing excellent. How about you?
And you're going to talk to us, I believe, about APIs in payment and treasury.
That's going to be the topic, yeah. So very interesting fintech stream you guys are hosting today, and was delighted listening to Jonas and Fuang and Jannika earlier. So very exciting, and indeed Jonas touched a bit on the data side of things and how we are in the early steps of open banking overall, and I think very interesting insights from the sustainability angle into this whole topic was followed, and especially I guess there's lots to happen in this ESG reporting side of things as well. So yeah, so many things
for 20 minutes.
Yeah, cool. Hey, thanks, Claire. Thanks, everyone. So API banking driving payment and treasury innovation. That's the topic I'm talking about. I hope there's not too much echo from our new office space, which is not fully kind of like furnished. Let me move on with the slides. So I thought about a bit of the agenda. Are the slides moving? Can you see the second slide? Yes, now it's at least moving. Yeah, I thought about the agenda there. So giving you a bit of a background, and first then let's look at the connectivity overall, as well as then the innovation, which is the topic, and the use cases and benefits from an IT perspective there. So I think Jonas gave a good background there where we are with kind of open banking and how we moved into this API banking world. Is that initially there was the regulatory driven focus with PSD2, while then the US banks have led the way with kind of corporate / institutional banking APIs. That is now leading to new innovative solutions which arise from real-time closed loop operations, as well as bundling of APIs, different API services together. If you look at the banking connectivity today versus API, so today we do rely a lot on the XML files and the file-based one-way batch processing, which then in the API world looks a bit different when you can just pull the data instantly on demand. It's a two-way flow, and you actually on the driver's seat yourself. While then, if you look at the security side of things, obviously files are not that secure as then you compare to APIs, where banks offer multiple layers of security, as well as if you look at the vulnerabilities in a way of the current today's way of connecting the banks. There are multiple parties involved in the chain, and that causes obviously certain issues as well. Then if you look at the data itself today, looking backwards into yesterday's end of yesterday's balances and transactions, you're relying on the previous day data, while APIs offer the real-time capability. You pull the data, which enables then automation and digitalization. So then to the innovation part, which we kind of like categorized into three different streams here. So we see that the real-time data is really driving end-to-end automation, and then on the other hand, there's specific APIs that can digitize the current pain points which treasuries and finance teams face today. So on the end-to-end automation side, real-time enables access, gives access to, or the APIs enable the real-time access, and the data is more structured it can be more enhanced by the parties that read the data from banks. And innovation is really not kind of like on what APIs do, but it's arising on what you do with the data. Then the digitization part, I think this is where the banks are innovating. They understand, they listen to their customers. They come up with specific corporate banking APIs that tackle an existing pain point, such as payment refunds or beneficiary account validation. While then, what APIs really enable and what they are about is to enable us to play with different services, bundle this together so that everyone can become a creator and a builder, building new products in a way. And this is the beauty of APIs that many have been obviously repeating today. We were kind of like a bit discussing on the benefits from the IT perspective and what do you get with APIs overall, and especially in this context from banking APIs and corporate banking APIs. So obviously APIs do give you a better quality in terms of speed and resolution of problems, and now we're seeing what Jonas described from enable banking, that how things have progressed, especially during the last year, that actually this is possible. Then when you look at the corporate banking APIs, you actually can get richer and more detailed data than from the regulatory related APIs. Then that overall you get the better visibility to problems, which is a strong one from an IT perspective. You get to see yourself and know that actually there's an issue with the file or the data before the business owner gets to know that. And overall, these things lead to better quality of the solution you're offering. Then the benefits using APIs with FinanceKey or other provider there. That's you get the one standard to implement for multi-banking, and you kind of like not need to take care of the standardization of certificates and authentication processes what comes to different banking APIs. Then you're connected to a platform with stable connectivity, and you're shielded from the changes that the banks might apply on their side. Then think about a bit of the use cases there from kind of the three pillars we set there on end-to-end automation, digitization, as well as becoming a creator. So one great example of end-to-end automation processes is reconciliation of accounts receivables. You can do it from end to end in a way, cash hitting the account to reconciling that against your accounts receivables, and then generating the accounting bookings to your general ledger from there. And I think this is such a great example of a end-to-end process, as well as kind of payment initiation and approvals and reconciliations and tracking of payments. That's maybe another one. But here, obviously, the real-time structured data enables the automation for receivables clearing, which then helps companies, businesses gain money with faster rotation of working capital and credit limits, and it frees up the time from repetitive manual tasks. So what we see, that's there are banks who offer on the corporate banking API side a good insights and transparency into the data, and here is on the transaction level is key to that businesses get at least the same level of transparency and information as you can get today from a traditional bank statement via API. But obviously, if you want to sell as a bank the API to the business, you better actually add even better quality than they can get today from the traditional communication channels. Another example on the digitization part, beneficiary account validation, a process that is super manual today, and it's what banks have realized that, hey, this is where APIs can help. We just offer an API that is tackling a specific pain point that corporations have. And here, you verify pay account details before sending the payment instructions and ensure that the payments arrive at the intended beneficiary. So you are actually protecting yourself against possible fraud cases to save money, time, and importantly, avoid that negative news, negative press that could come from fraud cases. Here, there are a couple of banks who offer a good API. Nordea has worked on it in the Nordics, JP Morgan, and as well as Deutsche using the Swift API there. On continuing the digitization part, payment refunds is another great example of tackling a pain point that every business have. How do you refund a payment to a customer when you don't know, especially in the Nordic countries, you don't have the information on, and in many other countries as well, on the account, the IBAN number of the account from where the payment arrived, and if it's a false payment, you want to return it to the other party, and their payment refund APIs solve this specific pain point. OP Bank in Finland has done a good job there. Nordea following, working on the sandbox version, and Citibank has a good offering there as well. Then obviously what we love most and are enthusiastic about with APIs is becoming a creator and the way that you can build things and bundle things. So as an example of a liquidity management process inside large corporations, you need to inquire the balance. There's specific APIs for that. Then you need to deal the FX deal. There's price stream APIs for that to get the current rates, and then if you want to deal via API, there's the market order FX APIs available, as well as for the post-trade process, this trade retriever and confirmation related APIs. So in a way, bundling many things together, you can build and automate quite nicely a very manual process that exists still today. And Nordea and Citi have pretty good FX API capability there among some other players. Yeah, I guess that's what I had on the speech. FinanceKey is an early stage company. This is the team, and we are eager to help you guys on your journey and to kind of listen what the industry, where the industry is going, and help you guys learn more how to apify your payment and treasury operations.
Veikko, thank you so much for sharing. There's some fantastic case studies there in the detail that you gave, and I mean an example of how fast this space is growing, the pace at which people are coming up with new and more exciting kind of use cases and opportunities. What are your observations on the things that these organizations that you're using as the case studies? What are some of the things that they are doing right in their choices and strategies that are giving them this edge, do you think, over others?
Yeah, I mean, looking at the kind of on the corporate side and the business side, I think you can split corporations into 3 categories. There's the leading companies, then you got the mid cap companies that are kind of like very sticky and quite conservative to their processes, and they stick into the current ways of working. Then you got the kind of more modern scale-ups and like tech companies who eager to jump into this wagon, and you know, they demand better services from their, you know, banks, and I think it's the both ends, kind of the leading companies as well as the more modern tech and scale up startup types of companies who are very eager kind of like to implement something. And I think the right strategy and choices are such that you take a modular approach, and you implement something small first. For example, for the liquidity management process, why don't you just, you know, get access to the instant reporting APIs, get the balances in. The next step, you can get the market rates in to convert the currency balances in currencies to your home currency. The next step, you know, build up an dealing API on top. So I think this kind of like choices and strategies, I don't know, I think that the best choice is not to touch maybe the kind of like the more critical process in the beginning. Get to kind of explore what you can get out of the APIs, what is the quality of the APIs, and then move on. But don't kind of like hesitate then, you know, moving to replace the critical process, because at the end it will save a lot of your time and you can innovate more. You can innovate more and you become kind of a better business partner as well as a finance or a treasury employee towards the business, which you should be driving.
Oh, and funnily enough, you've answered part of Jonas's question as well, which was some of the, you know, where are some of the low-hanging fruit. I mean, I think your point is certainly something that we talk a lot about starting small, getting some learnings, getting some wins on the board, getting some trust, some understanding. Really, really vital. I think, I mean, I'd also be curious about whether you see too that when people develop more of an API type of mindset, whether their ideas about what they might want to automate and change by way of a process, it's less re-engineering, it might be actually rethinking it from a very different perspective. Have you got any examples of where perhaps some of the bigger, less low-hanging fruit actually look quite different when you've got some experience of having done things differently? Yeah,
I guess maybe looking into this, you know, from the corporate perspective, what APIs enable is not, you know, first what from where you would, or the banking APIs would enable you, is not kind of the where you get the biggest efficiencies out. It's actually everything after kind of like what happens in the finance processes. So definitely I think if you know, looking at the treasury and finance processes, payment operations today, it's kind of changing the ways of working on the business side. And I think that's, you know, if you just, it's so fragmented, the data is fragmented, you have so many different interfaces from where you need to capture the data into one place. So overall, I would say, like, yes, you know, we take the approach of starting from the banking APIs and bring the real-time capability on top of which you can build many things and innovate on top, while then, you know, looking at the finance organizations is everything after kind of like reading the banking data in, and that's where the inefficiencies are. You should tackle that, and that's where you get the most value in. But if you start from you know, real-time closed loop operations that APIs enable and banking APIs enable, you know, it's connected to so many streams in finance, in treasury, as well as in the business, that it enables so many things. That's kind of like rather when you're starting this journey, you need to get these learnings. What you mentioned, you need to get the trust built, but think about the base, the architecture, and what you want to kind of achieve in the long term. But there's many good use cases that the businesses are having. They are thinking of kind of like related to confirmations, compliance, these kind of things.
Could you perhaps go into a little bit more detail on some of the corporate treasury places to start? We've got a question from Mesa Skilas in the chat about starting out on an API world, specific corporate treasury examples.
Yes. So specific corporate treasury examples, I would say, hi to my CTO and listener there on the line. So I think if you look at the specific corporate treasury examples, I think clearly is that the instant reporting is one. So getting the balances in, getting the transactions in, converting those into the currency, your home currency, and then when you got kind of like regional treasury, regional people, regional finance people versus the centralized folks, and kind of like everyone getting the visibility to multi-banking in one single source, and if that's in real time provided by banking APIs, that's very strong. And obviously then the one beautiful example is indeed this receivables clearing process, where you can kind of like, if you have instant access to the banking data rather than you rely on the MT940 messages or the kind of peer-to-peer connections to get the data from previous day, then you can actually automate the receivables clearing right away when you get the data, which leads to then you freeing up time, resources, and you can just innovate more on top.
We could certainly keep going on this, I think, for a lot longer, but sadly we're going to run out of time. So
no worries.
Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Fantastic to hear your insights and perspectives. A really great way to round out the conversation on fintech APIs here at Apidays Helsinki. Thank you, Veikko.
Very exciting. Thanks, Claire.